In this tutorial, we're going to extend our player movement, so now it will be able to climb ladders, because at the moment it can only walk left and right and jump. So this is once again going to be some type of input. So we're going to be working in check input in our game.js file. Now we're going to deal with our ladder interactions after we have done our jumping. So I'm going to call this section climbing. Now what we need to do is we need to find out if we are in contact with the ladder. So create a variable let onLadder equal is in contact between the player and the layer known as ladders. So this will return a true or false, once again, if I'm on a ladder. So I'm only going to allow ladder interactions if I am on a ladder. So if I'm on a ladder in any direction, so it means if I'm touching the ladder from the left, the right, above or below, then I will allow this. If I'm not touching a ladder, I will not run this code. So if I'm on a ladder, and if my key is down, and it's the up arrow. So if I'm on a ladder and I'm pressing up, I'm going to set my vertical velocity dot y equals 0, but I'm going to adjust my position. So it means I'm not going to give it any speed, I'm just going to move it. That means it's going to kind of hover on top of the ladder and look like it's climbing. And I'm going to hit its player.position.y equals player.position.y minus 5. I'm going to move it up. Else, if my key is down arrow, if I'm pressing the down arrow, I'm going to set my player.velocity.y also equal to 0. I should spell velocity correctly, otherwise it'll give me an error. And I'm going to go player.position.y equals player.position.y plus 5. Else, I will just set my player velocity to 0. Velocity of y equals 0. So what does this code mean? There's an error there. I know it's an error because it's giving me an X. And it tells me what it is, expected bracket. What does this mean? Okay, this says, check that I'm in contact with the ladder. If I'm in contact with the ladder, then if I'm pressing up, basically set velocity 0, make sure that gravity is not acting on my player, and move my player up. If I'm pressing down, make sure gravity is not acting, move my player down. Otherwise, just turn gravity off. Okay? So if I'm on a ladder, I should be able to move up or down and not be affected by gravity. So I will save that. We'll refresh and let's see what happens. And now we stop on top of the ladder. If we go down, we can climb and move up and down the ladder. However, there's one slight bug. When we climb down the ladder, we can actually climb below the ground beneath it. So we need to do something about that in order to prevent us from sinking into the ground. So we need to alter this code where we deal with the down arrow. So we need to run a test first of all. We need to find out if we are on the ground. So if Now, what do we call that earlier? Touching ground. If touching ground below, okay? So if we're touching the ground below, that means we cannot go very far below. So we don't want to sink by 5 pixels. So if we're touching the ground below, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the player position dot y is going to be player dot position dot y plus, and what it's going to do, it's going to go to the touching ground and it's going to get the distance below. Sorry, the below distance is what it is. Below distance. So what that value gives us, it gives us the number of pixels between the bottom of our character and the ground beneath it. So if there's 2 pixels, we're only going to allow our character to move 2 pixels down. Otherwise, we'll increase that distance by 5. I think that will work. Let's just check that. So go down, and we cannot sink into the soil. Actually, we do sink just a tiny little bit. Oh, there was a little glitch there. No, it's fine. Cool. It was just my eyes playing tricks on me. Okay. Now, is there anything else we want to do here? Well, it'd be nice if we could jump off the ladder, but we can't. So what we need to do is we need to have some other condition in this if we are on the ladder. So if we're on the ladder, we'll just add another jump condition at the end. If key is down, spacebar, player.velocity .y equals -5. We'll just put a jump condition in there as well. And now we will refresh. And now we're on the ladder, we can jump. It also gives us kind of an accelerated movement up. But now we can run, and we can jump around our world. So we can't jump high enough up there, but that's okay. That was just how we designed it. So it kind of works as long as you are touching or close enough to the ladder to be in contact with it. So it doesn't look perfect, but it does the job. Rightio, in our next tutorial, we're going to add a little bit more challenge to our game. We're going to make our player do something when it touches the death condition.